employee starts their job, it's essential that you discuss your expectations for professional behavior as early as possible. Establishing your expectations early in the process during the orientation will prevent confusion down the road. This course is intended for you to watch with your employee so that you may discuss it afterwards. In this course, your employee will learn about some of the topics you both should discuss concerning your expectations for proper behavior on the job, including preparing for work, being professional, demonstrating ethical behavior, and contacting the agency. There are many things employees should do to prepare for work each day. Some people find it helpful to prepare the night before so they're not rushing around in the morning and to avoid last-minute delays that could make them late. Here are some suggestions. First, pack all the supplies you'll need to take with you. This includes all meals. Second, make sure your work clothes are clean. Third, check the weather and traffic reports. Will either indicate a delay in your commute to work? If so, plan accordingly. Fourth, make sure you have plenty of gas in your car. If you rely on public transportation, make sure you have the necessary fare. Fifth, confirm your childcare and backup plans. Finally, set your alarm clock. No employer likes to hear that you accidentally overslept. Respect your employer by arriving on time. Be sure to talk with your employer so you are clear about your work schedule. Also, know who to call or what to do if you are delayed or have an emergency. Calling if you are delayed is an important courtesy, but it does not make up for being late. Even when you call ahead, if you are repeatedly late, your employer has every right to bring up your tardiness and remind you of your obligation to be on time. Your attendance and punctuality is critical to your employer's care and well-being. Many employers are depending on their employee to begin their daily activities. Preparing for work also includes dressing professionally in clean, comfortable clothes. Don't wear clothes that are too tight or revealing. Also, keep in mind that whatever you wear may get soiled, so think about purchasing work clothes that are easy to clean. In addition, it's important to pay attention to your own health care needs. It's easy to neglect ourselves when we spend so much time caring for others, but it's hard to do our job well if we get sick. You may even be putting your employer at risk if you are going to work sick. Even if you're getting over something as small as a cold, you may need to wear a mask. If you have children who need childcare, arrange for care ahead of time and have a backup plan. No family members or friends should ever come to work with you. If there are other personal matters you need to attend to, they should be taken care of at home or on your break. Don't use a cell phone or make personal calls at work unless you are on a designated break. Professionalism is exhibiting a courteous, conscientious, and generally businesslike manner in the workplace. Getting to work on time, dressing appropriately, and handling personal matters at home are all examples of professional behavior. Let's look at some other behaviors that demonstrate professionalism. A very important one is maintaining a positive attitude. You are in a situation of caring for another person. If you are negative or angry, it's going to show. If there's something bothering you about your job, then talk with your employer as soon as possible so you can resolve it. If there's a personal matter at home that is bothering you, try to put it aside while you're at work. On the job, there are certain behaviors that are unacceptable and therefore unprofessional. You should not use profanity, and you must never use drugs or alcohol. Smoking may or may not be acceptable. You will need to talk about this with your employer. Whatever your employer decides, you will need to honor their wishes. Another way to demonstrate professionalism is making good use of your time. Chances are you will have a lot of duties. Therefore, it will be important to learn how to multitask. For example, you can put the clothes in the washing machine, dishes in the dishwasher, and while they're running, vacuum the house. From time to time, you may find a lull in daily activity. Be creative and find some extra ways to be helpful. Talk with your employer to see if they want any extra things done around the house if time permits. Just doing something like sitting down and watching TV is unacceptable. Sometimes employers can be impatient or upset. It is possible an employer might take personal problems out on an employee. This may cause the employee to respond unprofessionally, saying or doing something that is inappropriate. The best thing the employee can do in this situation is to remain calm and explain to the employer that their actions are making them feel uncomfortable. If the situation doesn't change, have a discussion with the agency representative for guidance. You and your employer should establish boundaries when you first start working. Despite the private nature of some of the tasks you perform, you need to keep in mind while on the clock, you're being paid to perform important services, and that the relationship between employee and employer is first and foremost a professional one. There are certain topics that are not appropriate to talk about with your employer. These include family problems, personal relationship issues, and financial difficulties. Other sensitive topics you should avoid are your religious and political beliefs. Sometimes your employer may ask about some of these personal topics. Politely explain that you are there to help and support your employer, not discuss your personal affairs. This does not mean you can't share any information about yourself. Just remember to keep it appropriate and professional. Ethical behavior is demonstrated by always trying to do what is right. One way to behave ethically on the job means perform all required duties as specified by the employer's service plan and to report your time worked accurately. Other examples of ethical behavior are being honest at all times, not stealing or lying about what care you provided, and doing your job correctly to the best of your ability. If you cannot complete a task, let your employer know. Don't leave it unfinished without saying anything. Finally, protecting your employer's privacy is one of the most important ways you can demonstrate ethical behavior. Do not discuss your employer's health, financial, family, or marital information with anyone. That means you should not share this information with other employers, relatives and friends of your employer, representatives of the news media, fellow workers, or your own family and friends. The last area we are going to address concerning proper behavior on the job is dealing with your employer's fiscal management service or agency. Each fiscal agency may handle the submission of time records differently. Ask your employer for specific instructions on how the process is handled with their fiscal agent. You and your employer are responsible for the completion and accuracy of time recording. Any falsification of hours worked is not tolerated. Services are paid for through state and federal funds. Any false claim, statement, documentation, or concealment of material facts may be prosecuted under applicable federal and state laws. It's necessary for you, the employee, to contact the fiscal agency if your address, phone number, or number of dependents changes, or if your employment has ended with the employer. It's the employer's responsibility to notify the fiscal agency when they are going on vacation, are in a hospital, a rehabilitation facility, or a nursing facility. Please note that in-home services are usually on hold while your employer is in a hospital or a nursing or rehab facility. Contact the agency if the situation arises, and do not continue to provide services to employers who are in a hospital, nursing, or rehab facility. This concludes professional and ethical behavior. Preparing for work, being professional, being ethical, and cooperating with your employer's agency are all part of proper behavior on the job. We hope that with both employers and employees taking part in this training, there will be a successful work experience. Thank you for taking part in this training.